Hi everybody, another day in the Ophthalmo University campus. Today we're going to do an amazing thing. We're going to grab Phacoemulsification and we're going to do something we love called reverse engineering. This means that we already know what you need to learn and what you need to do in order to do Phacoemulsification. So now we're going to go in the way back, okay? And this is very important because I was talking about with, an amazing friend and colleague here that I'm gonna say him probably 4 or 5 years of experience. Why? Because I'm gonna try to transmit to him not only knowledge, but to transform him in order to make the best decisions and the best problem solving during surgery. How we're gonna do that? He is going to understand this that looks very, very simple. This looks very simple, right? Is the capsule, the sonula, endothelium, of course the lens with the nucleus, and this is what we're going to call the safety zone. So what we're going to do is we're going to do reverse engineering about sculpting, about quadrant removal, with, of course, the mantra, the most important thing is primum non nocere. We do no harm. So what we need to do is to remove a lens, put an intraocular lens, and do no harm. To do that, it's very important to do it in a simulated environment. Why? Because I'm going to do a quick demonstration here, so he's going to understand what I'm going to ask from him. And then, of course, because there is no mistakes here. Here, you don't make mistakes. What you do here is you learn. And you learn in order to understand how the structures behave. And since we don't have a human being, this is the best place to do your learning. So we're going to enter, you're going to see, for those who are not familiar with the simulator, you're going to have the 3 positions here, position 1, 2, and 3. And we are in sculpting. In sculpting, I have these parameters. And it's very important to understand that we're going to have high ultrasound with a continuous mode, okay? And in the anterior chamber, we're going to do the sculpting. In the sculpting, I want you to advance in position 3, touching the lens, and of course you have 2 limits, and the limit is the anterior capsule. I really want you to see the interaction between structures. You see that I want to move forward. The rhexis is my limit, but also I want to be in touch with the lens when I advance. Okay, I'm in touch with the lens. So the ultrasound is only delivered to destroy. You also are going to see, the behavior of the anterior chambers. If I go to position 1 and position 0, look how the iris changes. And you see a little bit, you see that? This is very important to have in mind. Then you need to make the decision, and the decision is that sculpting with the correct characteristics about the walls, about how deep it is. We're gonna do another one, touching the lens, touching the lens, touching the lens, and we believe that is the correct depth, especially to do the cracking. Then we're going to rotate, and perpendicularly we're going to do a second sculpting. We're going to do a divide and conquer. As you can see, I'm behaving with all the principles. You see that? If I push too much and I don't have the correct ultrasound, you're going to see the sonula, and actually I'm creating a small sonular dialysis. And this is very important for you if you're doing phaco to be aware of. Okay? Touch the lens, advance, but advance in a way that you're not stressing the sonula that much. Is that depth, look, I go to position 0 and the iris goes to meiosis. Is that depth good enough? And the answer is no, so I need to do a little bit more. And I take my time, you see? Now it's much better. Now we're going to go to do the cracking technique. The cracking technique, you should see my hands, how I go deep, and I separate, and I do the cracking. I'm going to rotate. Then I evaluate, is the depth enough? And the answer is no, so I'm gonna make it a little bit better. So the cracking doesn't stress the sonula that much, you see? And perfect, I did it. And another cracking right here. Perfect, and I need the last fragment. Of course, the size of the rhexis, you see the changes in the interior chamber when you get to position 0. I really love that, and I think it's very important. Now you're going to go for quadrant removal, in which you're going to have high vacuum and high flow and a burst mode for ultrasound. And the key here is that there's many principles you're going to need to live by. The first one is you're going to go and you're going to occlude the tip. Look at the vacuum going up. And when the vacuum goes up, you always need to do ultrasound at the level of the iris. So what you want is only to deliver ultrasound when the point is occluded and far away from the endothelium. Remember, the endothelium, if you cause harm, that's irreversible, and it's going to be a high risk for the patient. The fragment comes to me because I play with position 2 and position 3. I almost do the emulsification with the vacuum. Vacuum is the one doing the job. Vacuum and aspiration flow. Okay, I only deliver ultrasound when that point is occluded. I go to position 1 always, try to avoid being position 0 because the posterior capsule is going to come to you and it's a big problem. So this is happening fast. And now we're going to do another tryout, and you're going to see how much you can learn from a simulated environment. Look at how the posterior capsule also comes to you if you don't have the correct balance between what goes out and what goes down. So I did it fast. It looks fast, but now you're going to do it, and we're going to actually use his experience to describe every single little detail and every single possible principle behind this. Because again, guys, you're doing Phaco, you're starting your residency, or you did 50, you did 100. Trust me, you need to, little by little, get this image inside your brain, okay? You need to start thinking all the time when you're doing Phaco that all these structures are interacting and what is happening to each of them. Start. So he's going to start with the sculpting, and then let's see what is he doing and which advice I can give him in order to make it better. And of course, we are doing some monitoring on him. He's very relaxed and he's very in control in the situation. But now that we're live, look, this is the first time I'm seeing him with a heart rate of 105. So you see, stress and the mindset plays a big time during surgery. My question to you is, are you doing something about how to improve your mindset during surgery? Okay, come with me. So he's doing sculpting. The first thing we need to think is, does he have the correct parameters in order to the displacement to be correct and don't have, look at here, you see, that's stress in the sonula. Why? Because many of us, we're pushing the lens and we don't have the correct parameters, so, we can damage the sonula and actually have big problems. He's doing many things correctly. That is, wait a little bit. So when he advances, he's touching the lens. That's good. But my question to you is, the walls need to be correctly too. My question to you is, do you think it's deep enough? Try to put it again completely parallel to your, and do another one. Do another one, touching the lens, very deep. This is something I didn't mention. Look at this. Because of the, let me grab a color. Because of the anatomy of the lens, the first thing is this is a limit and this is a limit. Okay, so you don't pass through those limits. But the second thing is, when you advance with the Phaco tip, you need to go down and then go up. Because if you keep going down, right here, you're going to break the caps. Okay? This is very important. Okay? Do it. And of course, you're always evaluating how deep it is. Okay, touching the lens. No, now you're doing ultrasound to the air. You're not touching the lens. That's a very important principle you need to have. Look at the difference between the depth from this half and this half. You see? But don't worry, do it. Again, the only objective here is to learn. The only objective here is to learn how to think, how to make decisions, how to solve problems. So that is why simulation is the most important thing in your learning curve. Yes, you need to go to the operating room. Yes, you need to do real patients. But right now in 2023, simulation, it's mandatory. It's a must. It's not only, oh, I don't have the option. Well, you need to find the option. Why? Because again, because of reverse engineering, I'm transmitting him so much knowledge that it's something that it's a must in the learning curve of any human being. Okay, look at this. Wait. Okay, so he did the two sculptings. Now, no, está bien, no te saques. So right now we're gonna do the cracking maneuver. The cracking maneuver, it's very important to identify two walls that have the correct characteristics and to go deep with the two instruments. This makes the hands have a special hand position. Okay, do it. He's gonna do a cracking. He's gonna find the two walls and put the two instruments down, and you see how the cracking is happening. Careful, because when you're doing the cracking, what's happening? The sonnulas are managing a high stress, okay? And you see, look at the heart rate going to 110. Again, you know that stress is going to be part, and anxiety are going to be part of surgery. My question to you is, are you doing anything in order to fight that? Okay, look at this, come. So he's doing so much stress that the sonnula is suffering big time. So he created a sonnular dialysis in that part, because when you are doing this, you know, the interaction between structures can happen. So guess what? This eye is suffering. We can remove it and we can do it all over again. He's learning. He's understanding long-term the interaction between structures. Try to do it again. Trata de fracturar de vuelta aquí. And this is so important for you. Trata. Okay, so that lens is going down. So don't worry. Remove it. Remove. Salte. And look at this, the amazing thing about simulation. Guess what? We can do it again, and we're gonna do it again. Why? Because the key here, and remember, the secret here is how much can you learn, okay? It's important to be in an environment like this. We have been surgeons and doctors a long time, and you know, we always want to get it right, and if we get it wrong, it's a problem for a patient. So that is why we always have this book right here. So we don't remember that we need to manage ego, we need to be aware of everything. And the second thing is that phrase in the simulator is a phrase that it's in honor to the German team who developed this device, that basically says that you become an expert through your errors. So guess what? This is the place to make them. So as you can see in this new model, you see a lot of interaction between the bag, the lens, and the sonnula. And if you learn this in a simulated environment, I'm telling you, your learning curve is gonna be 115% better. Why? Because you're gonna avoid complications in patients. You're gonna know what to do when you get to your first cases in a human being. And especially you're gonna save so much life, right? You're gonna save not only time, you're gonna save money, you're gonna save like very difficult moments, but most of all, and most important, you're gonna save the health of so many patients that you need to do surgery. So now again, we did a one sculpting. The sculpting has the correct depth. Now he's doing the second one, and we're gonna go for the cracking maneuver. Always remember, right? Remember the anatomy of the lens. Keep going, keep going. You need to remember that the nucleus is the most hard thing, and you need to crack. That the sonula has a certain resistance that is not gonna tolerate that you move too much. That you have the endothelium. So every time you're doing ultrasound, you always need to remember that endothelium is going to be there next day and is irreversible if you create any problems. So use a lot of viscoelastic and always try to do phaco in this called the safety zone. Okay, you do not leave the safety zone. In sculpting, as we were saying, let's put it some here. In sculpting, we need, let's put it in, we have too much blue. Let's put it in ultrasound. You want high ultrasound, and ultrasound is going to be the king, ultrasound. In quadrant removal, you're going to have high fluidics. Okay, why? Because you want aspiration rate and vacuum to do the job. Vacuum. Okay, look, he's already doing that. Look at that. So we are in quadrant removal now. We have high vacuum, high aspiration rate, and he's doing many interesting things that sometimes you take years to realize. He is in the safety zone. He's playing with the pedal in position 2, 3, position 2, 3, 2, 3. Why? Because he wants everything to be removed with the fluidics, and ultrasound will only be there to occlude the tip. He's also in the safety zone, not only in the center of the eye, but also at the level of the iris. That's extremely important if you don't want to, to damage the endothelium. And he's taking the time that is needed in order for the point always to be occluded. Look at that. There is a saying that says that phaco is done with your feet. It's not done with your hands. And this is why. He is completely placed in the safety zone, and with 2 and 3 and 2 and 3, he's making all the fragments come to him and save a lot of ultrasound. This is amazing. You see, if you are able to do 100, 200, 300 simulated cases like this, and the moment you go to the human being, you're going to be better. Actually, if you're doing phaco, but this concept you don't have clear enough and you can come to a simulated environment, it's going to be amazing for you too. This is tricky because you need to be always careful not to have you see what happened. You see what happened. I was about to tell you that you were doing ultrasound, not seeing the tip. So he had a little posterior capsular break there. Why? Because he was not seeing the tip. He was not seeing the tip. And he did ultrasound anyway. So you don't have a lens, and then you go for the posterior capsule. And actually, again, go again, and guess what? We do it again. And this is the great thing. 2 things happened that didn't go the way we expected. But again, the objective here is for him to learn. He is in a high stakes situation, with a video, but he doesn't care. He doesn't care because he knows that the only objective is for him to learn, and he's learning so much. And I can assure you that when you put some emotion in your training, you never forget. You never forget. And what do you want with a new surgeon is for him to never forget the most important principles. Okay? We become experts only through our mistakes. And now with simulation, we can put active learning to the next stage and do amazing things. So right now, look at here, he's gonna do, the sculpting. Perfect, he's doing the sculpting. He's using all the principles we talked about, okay? He is advancing in 3, coming back in 1. Perfect. He's going slowly, he's trying not to damage the sonula, and he is creating a sculpting with the correct walls, the correct depth, and the correct width. So he can go inside and then do the cracking technique. This is about how you think. You need to learn how to think. To learn how to think, you need to understand the principles, and you need to live by those principles. Look at that, the cracking is good. Actually, he's a little bit superficial with the instruments, but he's performing the cracking. Next time you go to the crack, go a little bit deeper. Perfect, just put it in the correct place, and we're gonna do the other cracking. Good. You see, go deep and crack it. And always have in mind the stress in the sonula. Perfect, good, the cracking is good. Now rotate it again. I think another important comment is that this is the new software to do the Phacoemulsification in the simulator. There is no many places in the world that have this software, but it's going to be available soon, and again, everybody's going to completely reshape their learning curves. Good. Good. Now we're going to do the last cracking. Always my question to you is, does he have the correct width and the correct depth? Okay, good. He's going to do the last cracking, a little bit. Perfect. Now we're going to switch the parameters for him. We're going to put quadrant removal. Remember that you need high vacuum, high aspiration flow, burst mode. Okay? Good. So now he's going to do the quadrant removal. Great. The quadrant removal started. Remember, safety zone, position 2, 3, 2, 3, and make the fluidics do all the job. Try for those fragments to be at the level of the iris. Perfect. 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. Okay, again, try to go for a wall, you occlude it, and then you bring it to the safety zone and try for those fragments not to come close to the endothelium. Always remember to use a lot of viscoelastic in order to not to damage the endothelium. Again, careful, go very slow. Position 2, 3, 2, 3. Always with the point occluded. 2, 3 in the safety zone. Perfect. We have the last fragment. Be careful. The last fragment, you know, is when you have more risk, because you don't have the mass effect in order to protect the posterior capsule, and the posterior capsule can come in the surgery. No. Okay, wait, stop. That's exactly what happened the last time, and you had a posterior capsular break. So now, position 1, and okay, just put that fragment in a better position in order to always see the point of the phaco tip. You need to always see it. You can actually do a little like side movement like this. Like this, go, okay, and now you do 2, 3. Come on, 2, 3, 2, 3. Very, very smoothly, 2, 3, 2, 3. Perfect. Careful, position 1, relax, second instrument, and then the first one. And you see what happened? Actually, I mean, if we wanted for this to happen and have a stage, it will not happen. What happened? 3 attempts. Happened different things in the 3 attempts, and I don't care about the last attempt that was correct. I care about how much he will learn, and he's going to learn about this. He's gonna remember this. all right? And it's gonna be on video, so congratulations, amazing. And then we're gonna keep talking about all the principles that all the reverse engineering that we can have in order to have this mind image and always understand everything, all the interactions between all the structures you have in order to make surgery. So congratulations, and I'm pretty sure he learned a lot, and I hope you guys do.